Excuse me. Excuse me. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 11. I'm gonna start at verse 13. Revelations 11 and 13. And in the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the tenth part of the city fell. In an earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were frightened and gave glory to the Most High of heaven. Verse 14. The second woe was past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. I want to start off by giving all praises, all honor, and all glory to Kol Haloyim La Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Hashem HaKodash. I want to say double honors to the elders and to the apostles that taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the beloved Akim, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and our freedom to do so, now more so than ever. I'm going to say shalom to the Akim and the Aquatato listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribing to this truth. To you, I say shalom. It's the brother Yahweh, and I'm coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. And this lesson is inspired by some breaking news. It's funny, brothers been making that statement about it's a famous quote or a quote that an individual said. I know I took a picture of it, but I don't feel like getting it. There's times where decades pass and little changes, and it's changed when weeks pass and decade or Slocky, I'm butchering and I don't want to do. It says there are decades where nothing happens and there are weeks where decades happen. And it's spiritual because a lot has happened and transpired during this year, since the very beginning of it, all benefiting prophecy. And if you really rooted in the Spirit, that's where your mind should be set upon. Revelation chapter 19. For the spirit of prophecy is Yahushua Mashiach. It's the testimony of Yahushua Mashiach. Slaki, I'm kind of all over the place. I'm just waking up. And that was the point of me bringing all this up. I went to sleep. I got a heavy plate. But brother said, I would want your lot. But the thing is, we don't have no choice of the lot we're given. And if you're given a lot, you're supposed to be equipped with what you need to overcome it. That's what Corinthians talk about. No man has been tempted more than he is able. And basically the Lord makes a way for him to escape, roughly paraphrase. But anyhow, I went to sleep. I think I fell asleep at maybe 4. I woke up at 8. I may have fell asleep. I may have slept 3 or 4 hours. Because although you be tired, your body be programmed to wake up sometimes. So I might go to bed at 1, but I'm still waking up at 7. Anyhow, so I end up falling asleep and get a nap, and I rarely do. The Lord did bless me. I went to sleep because I don't really get the chance to do that. I'm working or I'm doing something. Not to make it about me, but it just speaking. Anyhow, I was blessed because something that normally doesn't happen. I was able to get my kids off. Basically to have some alone time. And as much as I might have wanted to do, I called myself about to prepare my camp. Bless it. It was not. I had to fall asleep though. It's hot as my house. I ain't got no air conditioner. I do, but that shit ain't working like that. So that'd be them spirits. Anyhow, I fell asleep. I wake up and brothers, it's not detrimental. Well, detrimental. It's a serious and beautiful. You can see the energy radiating off them brothers because they was just so ecstatic. Because we seeing prophecy come to fulfillment. But breaking news about what Trump did, and they making it known. Because the product, the scriptures talk about in Daniel, a man, pretty much they had a look that was more stout than his neighbors, roughly paraphrased. Esau, Edom, this Babylonian DJ Trump, this man is a proud devil. But he kind of telegraphed what he was going to do because, he cut his G7 summit short and he was basically pulling people out of stuff. Pretty much they gave the Marines a deployment meal, and they was trying to figure out what's going on. So yeah, that draft about to come and all that, and brothers that believe about to get caught up in that, But if you are the elect, the Lord got you regardless. But yeah, you can see, what I realized recently, my power went out, right? And I thought it was the whole street. At first it was, but they connected everybody else shit. Our shit, me and my neighbor, our shit, the guy that's next to our house, the transformer blew up in our backyard, so it fucked up his tree fell and literally hit on his lines and all that, but they were able to restore our power. I did a lesson on it, because Spirit jumped on me to speak on it. But what I truly realized, although we know that we're going to be in the midst of all these things when they take place, to actually witness it, it's going to be a whole totally different thing. You got to be locked in. Now, the difference between me and them other people was the Lord created provisions for me where I didn't go apeshit crazy. My children didn't really trip out. I had already been preparing them to go without the TV because my kids ain't TV heads like that. No way. They are, but they not. I make them do a whole bunch of shit before they get to watch the TV. You know what I mean? On top of the fact they broke the last TV, so they ain't watched the TV in like a month and a half. Almost like 2 months now. So they wasn't really tripping on it. You know what I mean? It was beautiful how the Lord did it. I was still able to cook, wash my ass, wash clothes. Wash dishes. We just, couldn't, we wasn't there all day because they gone. It's summertime, and then I'm at work. So but saying all that to say this, the Lord is about to try everybody's faith, because that's the thing. We are behind enemy lines, chatting down the downfall of this place. So how much more should your faith be on the level? And like the scriptures say, and then they shall see who are my chosen. So I'm gonna read a little bit of the article, and then I'm gonna bring out these scriptures. This ain't meant to be long because this is my lesson. You know what I mean? I was like, damn, I need a lesson. Lord of behold, I woke up to this. So I thought of that saying as soon as I was saying I'm gonna do this video. It says the United States launched the attacks on 3 nuclear sites in Iran on June 21st. President Donald Trump announced on Truth Social as the Israel-Iran war entered the second week. And the thing is this, you got to understand, you got something called the BRICS nation, and the scriptures talk about how Russia should be a guard onto them. So these BRIC nations, which are Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa or South America, but it's other countries that have joined onto it. Pretty much, they all in allegiance. How like NATO, pretty much is a military alliance against Russia. At the end of the day, Russia's that big bad wolf, or that big bad bear rather. But those nations, Russia and all those other nations, are joined together. And Iran, if you don't think Iran has a nuclear weapon, then yeah, the Lord really playing with your mind. They allies with a nuclear power. China and Russia are nuclear powers. So these things are heating up. This is a beautiful year called Loyam La Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shah, and the tension there and the fear there. But it's always good to have a healthy dose of fear. The scriptures talk about having a fear of the Lord. And the men and the women that really believe and trust and serve and try to follow the righteous ways, we have that healthy fear. It's time for the rest of the world to actually, that's been in my mind for like the last couple of weeks, and that Batman with Christopher Nolan as the director, that very first one, Alfred asked him, he said, why bats, Master Bruce? And he said, bats, he said, I'm afraid of bats. He said, bats, I fear bats, or I'm afraid of it. Bats. He said, because remember, he was traumatized as a young child. After his parents died, he went off, lost in his own little world, and fell down like a whale hole. And it was like a haven for bats. And it scared the shit out of him. But he embraced the fear. You know what I'm saying? And he said pretty much, basically he's going to make the world feel his dread. And that's been resonating with me lately because, again, I suffer from depression, so that's like a hopeless feeling sometimes. The only reason why I'm able to sustain myself, to show you the power and the magnitude and the magnificence of Yahweh Bashim Yahshua, is through these scriptures. That's why brothers say that people gonna bug out, because sometimes they feel like I'm gonna bug out. And if it's meant for you to bug out, that's what it is. You know what I mean? Everything that takes place, everything is ordained from the Heavenly Father. It was ordained for the situation that took place for me to go through this and to walk. It's a song called I Walk Alone. You know what I mean? But I'm not lonely because I can still feel the spirit. And that's cold. You know what I mean? the force. What that Jake say? He say, I'm trying to be fully tapped into the force. But saying all that to say this, I mean, this is beautiful. And now it's time for these people. What's that? Psalms? It said, time for these people, let me teach you the fear of the Lord. These people are going to fear the name Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And them brothers were speaking on that. They was talking about how, certain little things was happening, but, people wasn't really in awe and fear. But now they seeing, okay, they done drop bombs on these people. Now people like, oh shit. Because now they understand they about to get involved in this. Now your kids about to have to be drafted. Because think about it. It's probably a reason why it make a lot of sense now why they cutting all these jobs. Because people ain't about to have no ways and means to protect themselves. So what do people do when times are hard? They go to the government. They go join his military. Why do you think Jake was going to the military at certain points in time? Shit, when I was in school, a lot of Jakes, and we grew up in the ghetto, that was my dad went. Jake go there to try to better themselves. But nobody goes there during the time of a war. Usually during the time of the war, they'll present. You might commit a crime and they'll say, okay, you're going to go do this amount of time or you're going to go to the service. So, yeah. Call Loyam La Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. It says, the United States launched attacks on 3 nuclear sites in Iran on June 21st. President Donald Trump announced on Truth Social as the Israel-Iran war entered the second week. We have completed our very successful attack. Then this nigga just gossiping. Show you how they use this shit to really stir the minds of people for real. Fucking demons. Nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. Now the thing is this, to show you how weak-minded these people is. America possesses nuclear weapons. Israel possesses nuclear weapons. So why can't they possess nuclear weapons? Like the elder said, you can have a gun, but you telling me I can't have a gun. And then again, that's like anybody. You come fucking in my personal space, what do you think is gonna happen? Retaliatory type of situation. So, like I said, again, it's beautiful, like the elder was saying, this guy's a hothead because of that pride. You know what I mean? The scriptures talk about in Proverbs chapter 16, pride coming before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. And we watching this bitch spiral and fall right now. The conflict began a week ago when Israel started conducting airstrikes against Iranian nuclear and military sites, primarily targeting uranium enrichment facilities to prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons. Why do you want to prevent them from developing weapons, although you just slaughtered a lot of the Palestinian and you done slaughtered a lot of these people? What did they do with Gaza? Look at all the death and turmoil they brought to Gaza. Like, man, fucking hypocrites, man. The two countries have been engaged in aerial strikes, and Trump had been pondering U.S. involvement for the past week. And the scriptures talk about the least of the flock shall draw them out. So that's prophecy. So I'm about to bring out scriptures called Loyam La Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. I need to get that because that could be on my list. Least of the flock shall draw them out, and that's what the Lord allowed them to do. So this is the book of Isaiah chapter 13. And it reads, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. And you see these two nations in conflict. And now you're about to brought in America, Babylon the Great, which is going to bring in, China, the kings of the East, or Moab and Putin, Gog and Magog. It says, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua of hosts, mustereth the host of the battle. Let's look up that word mustereth real quick.
Strong's H6485. Pakad.
Best word will be, this was the 8, to appoint, assign, lay upon, a charge, deposit. So the Lord appointed them to gather for this third world war. That woe represents war. This woe represents destruction. It says, they come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. And ultimately, those weapons of indignation is going to be those ICBM intercontinental ballistic missiles. And that's spiritual how the Lord did that, because the conflict started because pretty much Israel, or those Israelis, don't want the Iran to possess a nuclear weapon, which is ultimately going to be the tool that's going to be used to pretty much decimate, but to destroy America, to annihilate, ultimately. All these countries pretty much are nuclear capable, from China to Russia to Babylon the Great, to the Israelis. And a lot of people, they saying that Iran doesn't have them, but I believe they do, because think about it. People that they deal with got them. The scriptures talk about these weak nations saying that they strong because they dealing with, that's like North Korea. North Korea got them. North Korea ain't a giant nation, but because they deal with Russia, So this shit about to go down. Call Lawyer Mlayah Bashim Yal Shah. It's the book of Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 5. Because ultimately, like I said, that weapon that's going to be used is those ICBMs, 2nd Ezra chapter 16. The arrows that the Lord shooteth is sharp. Isaiah chapter 34, the Lord's sword that's bathed in heaven. What sword can fly through the heavens? But a nuclear missile, ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missile, is kind of shaped like a sword. This is Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. It takes fuel to pretty much to be able to move those missiles, and pretty much those warheads, are explosive, with many times, what's that, Revelation 6, about the horses, 200 million, because each warhead has a certain amount of explosives inside the warhead. One warhead might have 80, 100 missiles in it. So that's your fire. And then, those ICBMs have a propulsion system. What's that? Joel talks about the horses, which represent the missiles. And ultimately, this is the will of the Lord, because it tells you in the scriptures that the Lord is a man of war. What is this? Okay, Kyle. This is the book of Exodus chapter 15. This was a song that they sang for Moses after pretty much the Lord destroyed the armies of Pharaoh when they were in the wilderness. It says, the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yal Shah is a man of war. The Lord Yahweh Bashim Yal Shah is his name. And this was a song they were singing. That's why it reads, verse 5, Salakia, verse 1, it says, then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yal Shah, and spake, saying, I will sing unto the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yal Shah, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea. That's deep, because the Lord about to do it again. What's that? Jeremiah chapter 50 or 51. You are my battle axes and weapons of war, and with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms. Because the Lord is the Lord of Sabaoths, meaning armies, and he can utilize anything to be his army. He can use man. He can use animals. He could use the insects, the bugs. When you look at the movie The Birds, those birds became like death angels because they were attacking people. What's that movie? Damn, it was a good movie too. Everybody's talking about it. Had Sandra Bullock in it and that one black guy. When they looked up, they pretty much would bug out. But from what I found out, the brother was telling me, when they looked up, it was the angels, because everybody understand that we at the end. That's why the spirit is pouring out on everybody to, make these movies, and, there's a lot going on. Call Lawyer Mlayah Bashim Yal Shah. So this is the book of Joel chapter 3 and verse 9, because this is the purpose of all these tensions in the air, ultimately to lead to that third world war, in the valley of Yehoshaphat, or Jehoshaphat mentioned in the scriptures. This is the book of Joel chapter 3 and verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the nation. It's like proclaim this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong. And again, that goes into those weaker nations actually being able to possess ICBMs. Iran is a smaller nation, but those are warlike people. That's why immediately they retaliated when those Israelis bombed the nuclear sites the first time. You know, they said they devastated that Iron Dome system, and yet still you got Esau trusting in it to the point where DJ Trump talking about, we gonna make a golden one. That shit ain't gonna work if it ain't working over there. Because the thing is, the scriptures say that all the nations gonna shoot missiles on Babylon the Great. You just got Iran shooting them on those Israelis now. And the thing is, I hear America or Babylon had to pretty much help with that as well. They couldn't deflect all the missiles. So what makes you think that technology is going to stop all the nations shooting missiles on Babylon the Great? You know, and then the scriptures talk about, you know, a time of war and a time of peace. Well, we ain't seeing no peace. You know, what's that? Jeremiah chapter 28 talks about how when a prophet prophesies about peace. This loudmouth is demonic bitch, man. Shut up. God damn. Yeah, she trying to shake her little all kind of motherfucking demons on that coochie. Anyhow, the fuck you do that for? She walked past me like, I ain't that thirsty. We ain't gonna play the video game or something. I'll drink a beer. No, but anyhow, I Salakia for, you know, I'm making a joke out of it, but no, that was just weird. Right when I'm doing my video, you know, I couldn't do it in the house. It's too fucking hot in the house. I went outside, but then, like I said, you know, the spirit jumped on me to do the lesson, so I pulled over to the side street because I don't want to be trying to drive and do it. And then this motherfucker come out. As soon as I park right here, this motherfucker coming from across the street. You know, it's a bunch of niggas just sitting back. You know how niggas do summertime. They sitting just drinking and plotting. And as soon as I park here, this bitch walk over, and I guess she worked for the stove, so she cleaning up for him, but the fuck is you? Shut up. The fuck? That's them spirits getting active, though. But, you know, we not in the time of peace. We in the time of war, you know. And you about to very well know that when they start drafting these people. It make a lot of sense now, again. Because, again, if it ain't no opportunity out here, motherfuckers going to rush into that war. Yeah, man, people do what they say. People do a lot of shit out of desperation. And Esau know that. That's why he banking on motherfuckers being so desperate that they going to accept that, see him. Verse 11. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither, because thy mighty wants to come down. Cause thy mighty wants to come down, O Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Let the heathen waken and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. And we're seeing that now with all this taking place. So this is a beautiful day. This is a beautiful, you know, this is prophecy being fulfilled. And like I said, the Lord is giving out, you know, again, it's spiritual. Brother made a video talking about, you know, Holy Spirit levels you up. The Lord just did something with this. He took me through something that I could have got pissed off about years ago. I'll probably be with him. But, you know, I accepted it just like it is what it is. And I try to look at the good things opposed to the bad. And, man, I'm talking about, I threw up a prayer. And, you know, it was good to see my kids weren't tripping and everything. Food didn't spoil nothing. Call Loyam La Yahweh Shema Shah. You know, that's the art. We serve a mighty power. So, you know, stay locked in, Jake, you know, because we about to, you know, buckle up, Buttercup, you know, because you about to, even if you don't enjoy the ride, you about to go on it. So if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments of your power, whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, you will be destroyed. With that, all praise, all honor, and all glory to Call Haloyim La Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Hakodash, double honors to the elders and to the apostles that taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim, across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akwata and the Akimata, the listening and learning. Lord willingly, this was edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, subscribing to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Until next time, Lord willingly. Shalom, shalom. Kwame Yasharallah, Mawakla Babor.